Yep. We got Leroy Hoard in the queue. Somebody do a read. We're going to bring in our favorite running back to the show. Before we do that, we have to remind everybody that 5 Hour Energy is a proud sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost, perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through the day, 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. Now you can arm up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for rules and entry. No purchase necessary. This does exclude the Masters tournament, though. Ends on October 31st, 2025.
Mike just yesterday, said Ben Gay and Trent Richardson were his two favorite running backs. And now today, Leroy's his favorite running back.
It's always Leroy. Don't believe Leroy. What's up, Leroy?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Leroy?
Wow, I'm digging the long gray
Look at that
music you're wearing there. It makes you look intellectual.
It's like Mr. Miyagi.
That's kind of funny. That's kind
Wax
of funny.
on, wax
Hey,
off.
I'd be more like Thicky Miyagi, but that's all right.
How you been, Leroy?
What's up, man? Good, man. I got a little, man, can I just tell you, if I put those stats, that time of possession, that control of the line of scrimmage, on any other game in the NFL, the Browns are the only team to lose that game.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
2-1.
When you look at time of possession now, and you guys were kind of speaking on it, in order to truly dominate that game, you got to get more production when you're controlling the clock like that out of your run game. Because then you're truly dominating the game. But it's funny because I look at things totally different. I look at defenses fall for anything, right?
Right.
And so, like, it's easy to say, oh, when I see that offensive lineman standing up and I know he not run blocking, I know it's a pass. They always fall for it. They've been falling for it since the history of football. So, yeah, it's all great that we sitting on a chair and talking about that. Now, what real offensive lines do is they take that quick jab, that quick one step, to where you taking a step with one foot, you ain't moved forward. Or you notice real good play action always goes sideways because you running, but you ain't going nowhere. Right?
So that sells the defense that you
right,
might run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the defense is like, because if you're a defender and a guy goes to your left or to your right, and your gap control is the gap in front of him, then you got to beat your tail to get to that gap. So a lot of times you taking what the defensive rules are to stopping the run, and you're using it against them. So you don't have to go downfield. You don't have to give a good run look. They just got to beat you across your face. And once you do that, and you just push them that way, and the quarterback rolls out the other way, you're like, oh, I fell for it again.
But we haven't seen that much. We haven't seen that much stretch action, though. I've seen a lot of just inside zone, because they ran what you're describing. They ran a lot of that with Baker, which was very successful because they did run the stretch, and then all of a sudden he blew out and they'd be wide open. I haven't seen that much. Maybe it's the fact that Joe's a little more upright, but yeah, that is true.
It's just the direct, but it's not. Keep in mind, it's not necessarily the stretch play. It's more about the direction. You see what I mean? You're trying to sell going left. It's not that, hey, we're giving a look that we run this stretch play and you're going to bite on it. Because if my responsibility is in between the guard and the tackle, and that guard moves that gap one step outside, then I got to get to that gap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing that catches defenses. It's not necessarily the actual run play. It's where your fit is on the offensive lineman. And when that moves, you got to move to get your lane.
Leroy.
So what's up?
Sorry. No, I thought you were done. I wanted your thoughts on Dylan Sampson's first game, and how big a difference do you think Quinshon Judkins, after obviously seeing him at Ohio State, can make for this running game?
I think what will happen when he does get into the fold is you're going to see 2-yard runs become 4-yard runs. 5-yard runs become 7-yard runs.
I'll take it.
Right? He has that ability to, that's how you wear defense down running the football.
Yep.
It's not the amount of yards or that you don't break one. But when you keep pushing that pile for an extra 2-3 yards and put your offense in a situation where now we're 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3, that in itself, they feel that they have to put more people in the box to stop that, when in actuality, there's nothing they can do to stop it because you're just running with power. And so that creates a whole nother level of problems for a defense. And so now you're talking about, hey, let's bring a safety up. Let's get somebody else pushing on that pile the other way. And I think that's what happens. Sampson, I found myself saying, oh, he should have got 3 yards on that, and he got 3 yards, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, he should have got 5 yards on that, and he got 5 yards. I was kind of hoping that he were to do a little bit more. Now, he did have some receptions, so you look at total yards and say, yeah, as a running back, he was effective. But I would like to see more effectiveness in the run game, because if you look at that time of possession and you look at how they controlled the ball, you would assume that they ran the ball really well, and they didn't. Yeah. So if you start running the ball well, you're talking about that 35-plus minutes becomes 40 minutes.
Oh.
And I want to see Joe Burrow try to perform with 5 less minutes. Right? Now he's got to press. And you putting him in a situation without really doing anything that forces them to have to press. Now they're playing into the hands of Myles Garrett. And what I enjoyed about that defense is, one, they got after it. They were all over the field. They were making tackles. They were swarming to the ball. But everybody else on that D-line did what they had to do so Myles Garrett could eat. Right? You couldn't, and how many times in years past we see nobody else doing anything, and they got a chip and 2 guys doubling Myles Garrett. He just can't get there, and we're like, somebody else got to get there. Well, now the other guys played such a pivotal role in getting pressure on the quarterback that Myles Garrett was single block. You can't block that man with one man, and he just caused havoc. I mean, the series at the end of the game, I was like, this game is over. Where he just took over.
Yep.
That's what he does. And you got to have guys that complement him, that put pressure on the quarterback in their own right, so that he does get that opportunity to be the pass rusher that he is.
Yeah, complimentary football.
Right. I was so just like, man,
your text messages Sunday were you were echoing my feelings exactly with everyone you sent me. I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm feeling right now.
And here's the thing. Football is a very negative reinforced sport, right? It's not a situation where, Steph Curry goes 1 for 10 and they go Just keep shooting it, player. Just keep shooting it. You're going to get it, right? It's not baseball where you go 0 for 20 and they go, just go up there and go through your process, see the ball, it's going to turn around. Football is no. You screw up one play and we got questions, right? So,
and it all builds on itself.
Right. So
That's
every time it has gotten to the end of the game and the kicker, who you have not seen all week, runs onto the field, it's like, I don't care how short it is. I don't care how long the field goal is. Do you see all the players on the sideline? Ain't nobody turning their head because they know. They know.
We better watch this.
Right. It's absolutely terrifying for a football game to come down. When I was in Minnesota, the punter and the kicker, when we played home, during practice, used to go on 1 day a week, used to go to the stadium and do their work in the stadium. So we didn't even see them.
Yeah, that's how
So like when they would come back the next day of practice, because we had 1 day of special teams, when they would come back the next day, everybody would go up to the kicker and the punter and introduce themselves. So my life and my dreams have been ruined and spoiled by kickers so many times. And I'm like, and so when I'm watching this, I'm just shooting off all the situations to Jay. I'm just all the situations.
Yeah.
Like it's a flashback. But that being said, kicker is also one of the toughest jobs from this perspective. If you have a bad game as a running back and you're the starter, you get some leeway. If you have a bad game as a quarterback, a lot of times they're going to show support. If you drop a couple of balls, if you look at when Dallas played the Eagles, if CeeDee Lamb could catch, that game would have been a different game.
Yes, you're right.
Right? Mysteriously, he couldn't catch at all that game. But a kicker, there's kickers everywhere. And so I don't know how he has to deal with that, right? I don't know how the team deals with that. But you always have to keep in the back of your mind that there's some guy on the field down the street getting ready for his call up because he'd already been in the league and we all know their names. Have you ever signed a kicker and you say, oh, I remember him? They're all over.
Yeah, that's a fact. Hell, 41-year-old Matt Prater came off the couch and kicked a game-winning field.
Right. I mean, wait. We have a new kicker that missed a 40-yarder and an extra point.
36?
36? Right. And Matt Prater came off the bench and made, what, a 60-yarder?
No, it wasn't that far.
Well, how long was it? Was
40.
Maybe you're thinking about the other game?
The
Pittsburgh game?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm thinking
60-something.
Yeah,
Boswell had a 60-yard game winner.
To win it.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm thinking about.
No, it's all good.
That's what I'm thinking about.
They're all run
They're all
together, man.
interchangeable. They're all,
So
Yeah,
Boswell's
we
probably
like-
the best kicker in football.
Yeah,
I wish we had
Yeah.
Boswell.
Oh, me too.
No, we all do now.
Yeah.
But who
No,
ever
hell,
thought
I wish
that
I
he
had
would
him
miss
for
those?
Sunday, too.
Hey, if it wasn't for a kicker, I'd be in the Super Bowl. I would have played in the Super Bowl. So
Were you
like,
on that? I was
believe me.
trying to think. You weren't on that 98 team, were you, that with
Yes.
Anderson?
Yep.
Yes.
He was perfect
Yes.
all year. It was the only
Perfect
kick
all-
he missed all year.
Hey! Don't remind me. I was there. I was there. You don't understand. Wait, I'm
I
gonna tell you
thought
a
you were
Brown
gone
story.
by then.
No.
Oh, my
So,
God.
I'm gonna tell you a Brown story. So we were playing at the time Houston, and we were playing the Houston Oilers, and we had beat them up physically so much they had no linebackers. So they had two safeties playing linebacker. That's how physical that game was, right? We get down to the 2-yard line with 2 seconds left. And Bill calls a timeout and goes, look, we are destroying them. Let's just kick the field goal. It's wet, it's muddy, it's whatever. Let's kick the field goal, go into overtime, and handle our business there instead of going for it now. We were like, cool. Right? And I'm trying to think of who it was. Matt
Barr?
No, not Matt Barr. After Matt Barr, he went on to the Ravens. Stover.
Matt Stover.
Oh, okay. Stover, yeah.
Stover. Right? And he goes out there, he slips and kicks the ball in the dugout. I mean, it went now, if you know Municipal Stadium,
that's not even
that
close.
thing is not down the third baseline. Right?
It's 30 yards off target.
Right. And it's a field goal that you wouldn't even have now. And it was shorter than an extra
That's
point.
why we have kicker PTSD. It goes all the way back to that year.
Right. And so as great as a kicker as he was, right, we nicknamed him Dugout. and so, like, yeah, man, like it's one of the hardest positions to be in on a football team. Because you run into the game with your clean uniform, you see guys coming off the field with broken fingers, with scars, with bruises all over their body, and you got one job.
Yeah, kick it through the uprights.
Right. So I sympathize with him, but damn. Man,
hey, what do you think about the fact that the Ravens are celebrating 30 years of returning football to Baltimore the week we come to town?
That's pretty crazy, but I will I'll tell you another story about the first year, and you guys might not remember this, and when I bring it up, you're going to go look it up, and you're going to be shocked, okay? We went to Baltimore, and they had all this pomp and circumstance, went to the baseball game, all this stuff, right? Everybody was congratulating us, right? They were congratulating us for winning the Grey Cup. No, for winning the Grey Cup. That was the year where they had about 6 teams in the U.S. for the Grey Cup. And if you pull up the Grey Cup champions, the Baltimore team won the Grey Cup that year. And we got congratulated all the way up until we actually played dressed as the Ravens for winning the Grey Cup.
That makes no sense.
Go look it up.
The
fans didn't even know.
In 95,
they thought we played Canadian football.
Leroy, 95, the Baltimore Stallions won the Grey Cup.
Yes! Right!
God.
So just imagine going to a new town. You're miserable that you left a place that people love you, and you get to a place and they don't even give you credit with playing in the NFL.
That's crazy.
They thought they called up the Canadian Football League team?
They had 6 teams down here for that 1 year. And nobody believes me when I tell them, and they got to go look it up. The Baltimore Stallions won the Grey Cup.
My God.
Damn. That's wild work.
And Baltimore football fans assumed that was you guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is.
Meantime, we were crying in our beer for 3 years.
So, like, I was crying too because I wasn't there very long.
That Ravens team went 4-12. Leroy, do you remember the 4 wins? Who they were against?
The Raiders.
Correct.
And I was gone.
Oh yeah, well, it was Raiders, Saints, Rams, and Steelers.
Hey, Testaverde was throwing that 1 year. Vinny was throwing for 300 yards. He was throwing for 400 picks, but Vinny did his thing.
We call that in sports a looter in a riot.
He was Joe Flacco before Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Speaking of, how you think Flacco played?
I think listen, here's what it is. I love Joe Flacco. His demeanor, how he approaches the game, the respect he gets from all of the guys that ever played with him. Joe Flacco is like, he's going to give you 4, 5, 6 of the best weeks of football you have ever seen. And then, like, am I right? It happened. It happened. When was that? 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yes. Joe, then he won comeback player of the year. He won comeback player of the year. He played 12 seconds.
That's true. That is so
right?
true.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
I have never seen somebody win any kind of award in the National Football League and get to the team for Thanksgiving.
That's so true.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. And he beat Baker, I think.
Right.
He beat DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. I mean,
he's amazing.
Hamlin's thing was that he came back.
I mean, that's the biggest comeback you could ever have.
Came back from flatline.
Right.
Death.
Right.
But, yeah, it has to. It has to be about the play on the field too.
Right. And so when you think about arm strength, yes. Accuracy, yes. He still can move a little bit because when you see him roll out, he don't look like he's 40.
What?
Right? He looks better than Aaron Rodgers rolling out.
I mean, that's not saying much.
But I'm just saying, we comparing the only two 40-year-olds I know. Right? Still playing football.
First of all, that's the key point. He's 40 and he's a starting quarterback. You don't do that if you don't have something there.
Right. And so throws are accurate. He makes good decisions until he doesn't.
Yeah.
And we all and that's the thing that I'm terrified of is, one, you let a game slip away where you absolutely played from the offensive side, the defensive side, one of the best all-around games that I've seen them play in a while. And you didn't even win the game. Right? And now you have a team coming in that not only is desperate to win, but they're on a different level than you in that they're competing for a championship. You trying to get in that discussion. So, it was disappointing. But if you're a Browns fan and you see the way the team played that week, like if they play like that every week, that's a 12-win team.
Wow.
If they play that way, especially if Judkins gets back and does more of the physical running, absolutely. You control the ball that way, right? You hold the team to that amount of points. You stuff them. You do all the things that you did. If they do that every week, at the end of the year, you're going to be like, Leroy told me that.
Well, that's a big if, though.
I mean, you mean
It's a
minus,
huge if.
You mean
minus
the drops and the interceptions, right? Minus the missed field goals and the.
Well,
I'm not talking. I'm talking. Listen,
they played well
I'm not even talking. I'm not even talking. I'm not. Right. That's what I'm. When you look at those numbers, there's only one stat that could cause you a loss in that situation, and that is if it's a pick six or something along those lines, and that was the 2 turnovers, and I realized one was at the end of the game, right? But besides that, if you look down that list, the only thing you could say I wish I would have seen a little bit more of is a higher yards per carry.
Run. Yeah.
But then I would also say this, and here's a number that you should understand. If I can run the ball 30 plus times a game, the yards per carry don't really matter, because if they allow you to be able to run it 30 times, you are still controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you'd made that point last year. I remember that.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Leroy, to your
look
point,
at the number of carries.
To your point, they were very balanced in the first half, the Browns. I mean, they were 50-50 at halftime. They really didn't even try to run the ball much in the second half.
Well, and keep in mind, sometimes in these situations, the quarterback has the ability to get into a better play. And sometimes just where teams line up, they'll take something away. And so you don't know what portion of that is. We called 7 run plays and he changed 5 of them to these pass plays.
That's a good
that
point.
worked.
Yeah.
So we never know that. We never know what portion of that is a part of the game plan.
And at that point, the quarterback's crazy if he doesn't take what the defense is giving him.
Correct. Because you're still trying to play good football. You want to run the football, but hey, if the cornerback's playing 10 yards off and I signal to my wide receiver, run me a 5-yard route, that's just as good as a 5-yard run if we're 100% on those little short passes. So, there's a lot that goes into it. So I don't necessarily just look at, how many runs they had, because I'm not understanding how many runs were called. Sometimes you can have a run play called, then they say, hey, Joe, if they give us this look, take that free money outside.
Is that why Bernie and Belichick didn't get along? Because Bernie was always changing the calls?
Hey, let me tell you something. Bernie's check with me's were just that dude was drawing up offenses on the dirt. And he'll say, hey, Jax, you know how on this play you're supposed to run a post? I want you to fake the post and run a corner, and that ball's going to be in the air. And I'll be damned if we didn't score a touchdown on it, and we got to the sideline and nobody went by Bill. No, because we know doggone well that at no point in the week did a play adjustment have Bernie drawing something in the dirt.
Well, Bernie's story is epic. That his last throw ever as a Brown was
that's the play.
A drawn up play in the dirt that went for a touchdown, and Bill released him that week.
That's the play.
And there's a T-shirt that commemorates that play.
That was the play. We all look.
Bill's ego.
We sitting in the huddle. It's like it's supposed to be like an off tackle play or something like that, or some kind of just a quick pass or something like that. And Bernie gets on the knee. He says, Jax, they play in this cover 2. I think it was a corner, and then he's supposed to run a corner. He said, I want you to run a corner and then take 2 steps out and then go to the post. The ball's gonna be there. Don't worry about it. He said, guys, give me 2 more seconds. And we looking around, it's like, this better work, because I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going, because you got an offense coordinator, you got, everybody got to deal with their own individual coach. Say, what protection did we use? We use BK protection. But that's, look, back then, quarterbacks had that autonomy to be able to do stuff like that. And the thing is, the reason why Bill and Bernie sometimes bumped heads was because Bill, at that point in time, the most important thing for him at that juncture with us was structure, right? And any deviation from that took away from the structure that he could build on. So I didn't blame either guy, but I know I wanted to win.
Yep.
And so we're like, hey, Byrne, is this going to work? He said, absolutely. Break. And he scored a touchdown. And guess what? Now you're going to the sideline, and Bill's going at it with Bernie, and our coaches are looking at us, and we're going, I'm following that guy. He want to win.
Yeah,
and
they would have been.
And that's the problem.
Diminishing skills and the release, and then the story was written.
Right.
Leroy, before we let you go, because we got to move along, give us your prediction for Sunday.
Listen, I think the game's going to be a lot closer than people think. I know I'm basing this off of 1 week. I think what they're going to do is they're going to force Joe Flacco to beat you. And we're just going to play the numbers game. We're going to play the numbers game with Joe Flacco. We're going to stop the run. We're going to stuff the run. We're going to make you throw the ball. And we're going to say Joe Flacco's going to do Joe Flacco things, and we're going to take advantage of it. Now, so far, Joe Flacco has been pretty good with the football, making good throws, sound throws, quick throws, all the things that you would expect from your starting quarterback. And he completed almost 70% of his balls. So he's making good decisions.
With 4
I think, so what I would do is, I'm like, all right, Joe, let's see you do that again.
Yeah, make him do it.
And I think, and whether it's, hey, we got a good pass rush, we're going to keep putting him back there and sitting him back there and seeing if they can protect long enough, or we're going to try to force Joe to make a bad throw. You know, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in pass protection or on a pass play. Whereas a run game, even if somebody misses a block, if you have a decent running back or a running back that can make a guy miss, you still can have success. So I'm going to that thing.
You're picking the Ravens, right?
Yeah, I just think.
Yeah.
Well, here's the only reason why I say that. This is the only reason why I say that. Because I got 4 years of seeing what the Ravens have done, and 1 week of seeing what the Browns have done. That's it.
As we say goodbye, one other thing to keep in mind, I mentioned the fact that Baltimore is going to rub Cleveland's face in it. You know, this was the year that we took your team 30 years ago. It's the last time Joe Flacco is going to go into Baltimore. The last time. That's where he won the Super Bowl. That's where he played the formative years of his career. I think it might mean a little extra to Joe to come out of there with a W-2. So a lot of storylines in this one.
It meant a little bit extra. It made a little bit extra when I went back with the Vikings.
Good, really.
And one of the things I said when I went back there was, I'm on a good team now. You ain't got a chance. What? What?
And they didn't. All right, Leroy. Great talking to you.
It was my first year.
Enjoy the game. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Leroy.
Thanks,
Okay.
Leroy.
All right.
By the way,